Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is the Cavalry. Well, it appears that you guys have been following the Henry Louis Gates Jr. saga, and I know you guys have been watching very closely. Well, it appears that Henry Louis Gates is black like me. Or, I'm black like Henry Louis Gates. Don't you guys feel lucky that you know about Henry Louis Gates Jr. before he was arrested? Versus trying to figure out, who's Henry Louis Gates? What? Really? Yeah, you guys had advanced knowledge about him. So you all knew more about Henry Louis Gates than anybody else did. Ain't that cool? Well, the reason why I brought you guys here is to talk about, well, the black man's plight, and why it seems that most of the people in the media have no clue to why Henry Louis Gates is angry, why he's upset at 58 years old. And I have to say, after watching The View with Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sherry Shepherd, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, and Barbara Walters, you kind of have to wonder, what are most of these people smoking? And if they are not smoking something, maybe they should be. Why can't black men be under arrest not because it's their fault, but because they may just happen to be black men? Why is the assumption always put on the black man of guilt no matter what, but no assumptions are put on white men, even though they're notorious for being racist? But the black man is constantly under scrutiny. Even if you do everything right, you are under scrutiny. Even if you get your education, you try and live a nice, normal life devoid of thug-isms, you're still afraid to be caught. What it is to live as a black man and to constantly have the police after you, trying to arrest you for anything. And I mean, you don't have to do anything wrong. And this is a clear case of you don't have to do a single thing wrong to be arrested as a black man. The police just come to where you are. They seek you out, they find you to arrest you. We worry about getting arrested leaving the house. We worry about getting arrested trying to go to work. We worry about getting arrested going to the gas station. We worry about getting arrested trying to go visit our children or a girlfriend or our mother or stepmother. I say all this to say, well, we can look at two different women here. We can look at Whoopi Goldberg and we can look at Sherry Shepherd. Why do you think that it's okay for them to be arrested when they are Harvard professors? Why do you think it's okay that they should be arrested when they are just coming home? Or be tricked to come outside on his own porch and be arrested? Why do you think that's okay? Because I have a sneaky suspicion that women like Whoopi Goldberg believe down deep in their heart's core that African American men, no matter what status, no matter what educational level, that they are guilty, as the white man says he is. Don't believe me? Well, if Whoopi Goldberg identifies with the black man's plight, she won't laugh at him, right? Let's find out.
Good time. That's right. Now, charges were dropped against Harvard professor Henry Louis Gates Jr., who was arrested by cops responding to a home invasion call at his house last week. Now, his door was stuck and he had to force his way in. But after he showed his Harvard ID, and the officers still weren't satisfied, and he got a little pissed. And he was arrested for disorderly conduct. He was mad, you know, because someone, a neighbor, saw someone breaking into the house, she thought, and called the police.
All I can say at this point is, whoopee, 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 whoopee.
And
Now, people are...
Which is a good neighbor. If someone sees that happening, that's good.
You want folks to do that, but you also want to know that your neighbors at least have a clue to what you look like.
At 12:40, and at 12:44 in the afternoon. It wasn't like it was at nighttime.
Right,
It was 12:44
but still, you...
Uh-oh. Did you hear that? I think I heard a inkling of protest from no other than Sherry Shepherd. Wait a minute. Okay, let's keep going.
You want somebody to do that, but the idea is, the question really is, would it have happened had he been a white guy?
That's what the thing is, that this is accused of being a racist act. The police department is embarrassed. The city of Cambridge said this incident should not be viewed as one that demeans the character and reputation of Professor Gates or the character of the Cambridge Police Department. This is an enormously distinguished man, a lovely man, a great scholar, but it shouldn't matter. Now, he says, the officer says, Gates continued to yell at me, accusing me of racial bias, and continued to tell me I had not heard the last of it. And he says, Gates says, I showed him my ID, he didn't care.
Right.
So, I mean,
didn't the cops also go into the house and see he had family pictures around, too?
And if somebody's breaking and entering, they're not arguing with, I mean, they don't stand and argue with the police.
Sherry, is that you using common sense from the street perspective? Wow. I think you know black men.
They're a burglar.
You should never argue with the cops.
Well, he showed the ID.
You should never argue with the cops. Well, they don't give black men much of a choice, do they, Joy Behart?
Show the ID, which probably had a valid address on it. It has a picture. You can validate in terms of picture and verify who the person is. And then, worst case, they also cuffed the guy behind his back, took away his cane. I mean, at some point,
how big a burglar could he have been?
Wow, did you hear that? It appears that Elizabeth Hasselbeck is more sensitive to the black man's plight than Whoopi Goldberg. Does this make any sense to you all? Is this some type of bizarro land? Some type of strange dimension or something? Where white women understand that black men may be unjustly accused of breaking into their own homes? It's kind of interesting. This cop has two choices. He can be a racist, or he can be absolutely prejudiced and a bully against the handicapped. Well, let's keep going.
I'm going to hit you with my cane and roll you.
They should be embarrassed in Cambridge.
Black or white, what about a little common sense?
Yeah.
After the man showed you this and is upset, handcuff him, book him?
But they've had incidents like this before, because in 2004, S. Allen Counter, who's a black Harvard professor, he's a neuroscience professor at Harvard, he was stopped because they thought he was a robbery suspect, and they were going to arrest him as well.
Was he driving?
Sherry Shepherd, you get a gold star for bringing up actual facts to defend black men and destroy these silly prejudice arguments that these women are throwing back and forth.
Arrest him as well.
Was he driving while black?
He was driving while, and he crossed and they wanted him to show the ID, and they thought he was a robbery suspect.
Really terrible. It's a terrible situation in this country.
And it's hard because you're glad that the lady was astute enough to call the police, because nobody wants to come home and find that their house got broken into. But you do want your neighbors, again, as I said, you do want them to just sort of get an idea that you might be living across the street.
Or how about the cops not take things to a
blazer on?
Yeah, but you know, burglars are smart.
They dress well.
Burglars dress well. I know these things.
See, Whoopi still thinks this is funny. Let me guarantee this to you, Whoopi. Black men don't think this is funny.
These things.
What he's asking for now is an apology from the policeman.
And he said he'd be willing to forgive if they were to issue one to him, which I think shows a good heart.
But we have these examples of the police where I think they think that they're the supreme authority. It's the way, it's like that football player who was trying to get to his mother-in-law, and he explained, and it's like they think that they're God instead of, because I'm sure.
I'm going to say the other.
Ooh, another gold star for Sherry Shepherd. And,
Instead of, because I'm sure.
I'm going to say the other side. We have very bad examples, but for the most part, the police have very difficult jobs.
Absolutely, but
and do them
their
with
job is to protect and serve.
You can't stand no damn white person getting up there saying, you know, we have to go back to the fact that the police just really aren't that bad. You know, they do have a hard job, and, you know, for the most part, they do their jobs. Let me tell you something, Barbara Walters. For the most part, they do their jobs for every damn body else except for black men. We go to jail. We get shot to death. Stop saying that dumb stuff. especially in regards to an African-American man being falsely imprisoned, falsely arrested by some stupid police officer. We don't care. We don't care how well all the other officers are doing. But we still have John Burge running free after sending multiple African-American men to prison for the vast majority of their lives. But you still want to talk about the few good apples. Seriously? Let's talk about the few good terrorists. Dummy.